Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So today we're going to be going over a pretty interesting situation involving a convention where for a brief moment in time, people believed VTubers like Pippa and anyone with a bunny-themed costume, cosplay, or even outfit might be banned from this event. Now, it seems really bad on its face, but as we'll see in this video, things will be corrected. And in the end, I think we have a pretty happy result. So hang in there with me as we go through this. So what happened here? Well, WeebCon 2026, which is taking place in Texas, was viewed as a convention that was outright banning bunny ears among other Easter and bunny-themed attire from their events. Now, a lot of it stemmed from this post that was made 2 days ago. This person saying, ha ha ha, what the F at WeebCon official. Guess you can't cosplay Pippa if you're going to WeebCon. And they cite the dress code. Now I'm going to talk about this event for a second. WeebCon 2026. It's an anime slash VTuber focused convention. And oddly enough, I have been there. Okay, I was a featured guest alongside my wife, Darling Straub. Back in 2024, we did this through Uwu Market. Okay, super fun time. We had these big cutouts. We also had our merch out there on the line in the stores. It was really cool time. I even saw a Gura-mobile, okay? I had a great time, okay? Very fun event. We went in person, incognito. I walked amongst you, and you didn't even know it. But yeah, I was there. Very fun time. And in terms of the venue, for 2026, it's the same as when I went in 2024. It is the Gaylord in Texas, okay? And I cannot say anything bad about the venue itself aesthetically, okay? I mean, look at this thing. It is gorgeous, okay? It's a beautiful hotel. It has this awesome sort of like perimeter with the inside filled with awesome restaurants and fountains. It's very, very clean, very, very nice. The venue itself for the convention was very nice. Everything was good. I can't complain about that at all. But in the post that got a lot of attention, what was being cited was the dress code. Now, if you go to the actual dress code on their website for 2026, I still think to this moment, it's still a little confusing in some regard, but let's focus on what's being said here, okay? WeebCon is a family-friendly event, which many people already are like, why are you having an anime and VTuber themes convention that is family friendly? Like, it's already very restrictive in that regard, and like, why do you want kids around? Some people think this is a mistake right from the jump. That's up to you. That's a personal thing, whatever. Some people had an issue with this from the jump, but this sort of family friendly environment is used in some of the justifications for these restrictions. So they say when you're there, keep in mind when considering your clothing, cosplay, and conduct, no bunny/Easter themed references allowed in costumes at the Gaylord Texas Resort and Convention Center. This is including, but not limited to, high cut or leotard style bunny suits. Now, I will say this, and some people might be disappointed. I think this one is fair. Okay, if you don't know what this looks like, it's a pretty lewd outfit. Wearing that out in public, I think as a family-friendly event, I think this is kind of reasonable, right? That makes sense. But the next one is what people are really harping on, bunny ears. Having bunny ears is restricted at the resorts and convention centers. So that was something a lot of people focus on. We'll talk about that in a second. And then this one right here, confetti and plastic Easter eggs. There is a reasonable explanation for this, as we'll get into. But this part right here is what I think is still confusing after the explanations we'll see, and it never really gets addressed. It restricts religious iconography related to Easter/Easter celebrations, and I'll get into that later again. And also down here, they require shoes. I think that's not just about hygiene, but also because people are a bit degenerate at these conventions. Let's be real. It's not a judgment call, but we know where we're at. We're at an anime/VTuber themed convention. I mean, weird stuff happens. But we have some of the quotes making fun of this, initially saying, "What do you mean rabbit and Easter themed outfits are considered sexual and is banned from a venue called Gaylord?" Gaylord resorts. And then you have posts like this saying, Happy Easter to the bunnies. Why, WeebCon? That's right, total bunny annihilation. Any bunny-themed VTubers, the cosplay is not welcome at this moment according to how people are interpreting this, and any merchandise or accessories possibly banned as well. Then you have people pointing out family friendly, and then there's a bunch of 18 plus creators, some of which are bunny themed too. You, VTuber fans, should not tolerate this under any circumstances. Free the bunny girl. Minors should not be allowed in VTubing in the first place, which I think is an opinion a lot of people agree with. And you have content creators here who are lewd tubers, including Cottontail VA, who's literally got a bunny themed outfit in the meet and greet for this year's convention. Also, people were trying to make Pippa more family friendly and non-Easter related, as you can see with this artwork right here. They did their best with this situation as interpreted at the time, but of course Pippa would also weigh in on this, clearly making a joke about the situation, saying Texas hates Phase Connect and Phase Connect accessories, in quotes or in parentheses, Pippa. Now, a lot of people were joking. She was obviously joking about this, and it'll seem very apparent as to why right now. Because one of the replies points out, I looked into the reason why they would have this odd rule. It is not anti-Christian. It's not anti-Pipkin. It's because they have a kids' Easter event going at the same time of WeebCon, and they don't want to mix things up. Seems reasonable considering everything. Now, the one question I have is why not separate these events entirely? If you want to have an Easter-related event, obviously it's going to happen around Easter. But with WeebCon, you can have that whenever. But the fact that these are overlapping, you know, some people are like, is that a great idea? Who knows? But when it comes to some of the explanations here, this is what they're referring to. There's going to be this Easter event. It's aimed towards kids. So earlier when you saw the ban on like eggs and confetti and stuff, that's because they're doing like egg hunts and stuff, like, you know, Easter bunny type stuff. So that's kind of that makes sense, right? And they don't want you walking around the convention center wearing like super lewd attire while this is happening. That all seems to make sense. And also the WeebCon official account would do something that a lot of companies do not do, and that is quickly respond to the situation, where they would clarify, this is a policy that is put in place by the venue, and we are respecting our partners by providing this in our dress code. Of course, everything is case by case. And the original poster just outright asks, so is Pippa okay or not? And they say, yes, I would suggest having ears that are detachable in case you are on the Gaylord side of the resorts and not on the WeebCon side. The Gaylord will be hosting their Easter-themed events that same weekend for non-con goers at the resort, and we are trying to ensure any hotel guest doesn't mistake Easter-themed con goers as a part of the Gaylord's Easter events taking place on the resort side of the facility. And people were accepting of this response, and I think it was a good response. It clarified some things, and it would be used as a notes on the original post, clarifying a misunderstanding. I think they were way too vague and not direct with this dress code, because it doesn't even mention specifically why this kind of crisscross of events is causing these restrictions, and it led people to make assumptions, and it made people think that anything bunny themed was going to be just outright banned from the convention, and there's ways around it, and they're trying to work with the venue and other events going on. It seems pretty reasonable. The only thing that like doesn't again make sense to me at this time is the iconography, the religious iconography related to Easter celebrations. Like, can you not wear a cross necklace into the event or around the convention? Because this is Easter. Like, we're talking like the Easter bunny. Like, there's no spot like in the Bible about the Easter bunny. Okay, sorry if that's melting some minds, but It just seems like an odd thing to add at the end, right? I don't know. That's just my personal addition to this whole situation. But overall, I think they did a good job of correcting what was a confusing situation. They came out and corrected a lot of misinformation and calmed down what was a brewing controversy. So that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.